general, it's fantastic news for the catering industry. It's one of the industries that has been most hit by the pandemic. It's great to see all the restaurants and cafes opening again, and of course the employees going back to their jobs. So fantastic news all around for them and for us.
So catering has reopened. How does that affect your business?
I would say affect is not the right term. Obviously the demand will be lower, but we know that the customer behavior today is they expect on-demand delivery, especially on a Friday night. They probably like that experience of getting that fine dining experience at home, or just a lunchtime where they might be busy. So we think that the future of the business is not held by a pandemic. It's just what the future is, let's say.
So more and more people are moving to buy things online. An appropriate moment maybe to ask you about that decision when Rock Hero came to market 18 months ago to not just offer food but to offer other services and products as well.
In Gibraltar there's been a lack of online services available to locals, which is kind of strange because there's so many industries which are based in Gibraltar, the financial, the gambling industry. It's really a territory which is neck deep in interactive companies, but there's never been a local service. So for us it was time to create a platform where some of the local businesses that have been operating for decades at times could offer their products and services to customers directly at their homes.
In effect, I would say we are the first of our kind in that sense. Mobile first, on demand, and that is what we feel the customer expects nowadays. So yeah.
So the pandemic must have sped things up. How has the pandemic and the two lockdowns in particular, how has Rock Hero experienced these?
Mm-hmm. The first lockdown in particular was very challenging. We saw our business accelerate during a period of days. So there were challenging and stressful moments, but with the support from our employees and our partners, we managed to be in a position to serve most of what Gibraltar needed at their homes whilst they were in lockdown.
So it's quite obvious that the demand was impacted our business hugely in the sense, whereas we were a small operation when it first started, and just due to the growth we had to accelerate many parts of our processes and obviously unemployment. We had to introduce, let's say, pre-order just to be able to handle the demand in a more timely fashion. So yes, it changed us in the sense, whereas we just had to grow quicker.
I think you were asked to support the government's civil contingencies efforts.
Yes, when actually we made the first approach, we wrote to the civil contingency offering our platform and our services for anything that was required locally. After that we met with them. They were extremely supportive of our efforts, letting us know that if we needed anything in particular to be able to continue to carry out our operation, that they would be happy to help. So it was a joint effort by ourselves, them and other companies and a lot of heroes throughout Gibraltar in getting everyone through the pandemic.
Can you give us an example of the sort of support that you offered civil contingencies?
As I mentioned, we put our fleet app platform at their disposal. In the end, it wasn't really required, but we did work together on a couple of initiatives. On our side, we partnered with our partners on the pharmaceutical side to deliver all prescriptions to Gibraltarians free of charge, as we felt it was important that we give back to the community whilst we were still running our commercial operation.
Roughly how many?
It was several thousand at least.
So we heard Charlie mention heroes there. Were you sort of conscious that your company was part of a community effort?
Definitely. We had many calls and emails from local companies offering to put their fleets at our disposal. And just all around we had loads of support from everyone, from individuals to companies, just offering the support free of service to help out the community. So yes, it was felt. Yeah, definitely.
To state the obvious, this is a business that was founded and is being run by two brothers. What is that like?
Fantastic, to be honest. We started working and discussing this initiative, I'd say, some 4 years ago. It makes operating and making the strategic decisions on how we operate easier. As we spend a lot of time together, we can be completely open and frank with each other. So for us, I think, for me at least personally, it's fantastic to work with my brother. Yeah.
As Charlie said, the biggest benefit is that we are in constant communication and we can speak to each other as frank as we want. So that helps a lot. It can create maybe a bit of tension between us, but it's what we're used to.
Charlie, how many in your team now?
We have a lot of full-time and part-time employees. There are some people who work the full week, and there are others who just work a couple of hours every week. Our team is roughly 110 strong. That includes the office and our fantastic drivers who have been working through the pandemic. We implemented a number of social distancing initiatives, which we also communicated to the Gibraltar Environment Agency. Those included sanitation, the wearing of masks, contactless delivery, and some other internal measures that we took to distance ourselves from each other. Being a digital business, we were able to mostly keep everyone out of contact with each other.
So Nick, we all know that Gibraltarians like their takeaways, and in particular on a Friday night over the weekend. Are there particularly busy times?
Yes, as you've mentioned, Jonathan, especially on Fridays, people like to have that fine dining experience at home. So you could find many occasions where the app might be closed. That's basically because we prefer to maintain service. So my advice would be just hold on for a few minutes and we'll be back online.
I'd just like to again thank our employees and drivers. Especially during the first pandemic, no one really knew or had the complete view of what the impact of the virus was. There were, of course, concerns by some of the drivers. After an internal meeting and after meeting with the civil contingency, it was clear to us that we were very close to being an essential service for locals. There are very limited options that one has when you want to buy online and have it delivered to your home. So we made sure that we were open during the entire pandemic and do our bits. I'd also like to give a big thanks to our partners. They've been fantastic during this whole pandemic. It has been challenging and stressful for them too, but together we've pulled through this.